We're back at it again tonight. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope your football team's won. Just doing a random live tonight. Don't really have a topic. You guys know it's always based on recovery. A little bit of football talk. We'll see where we end up. But yeah, it's Sunday night, second live this week. What's up, Nitro Bob? Looks like you're first in the chat tonight. How you doing, bud? Yeah, I seen that, brother. It's a tough one, huh? Uh, hey, Solid, how you doing tonight? Hope you're doing well. Hey, I tagged you in something on TikTok. There was a guy. Oh man, I can't remember what it's called right off the top of my head. But he said they're going in to talk to the BOP next week. I don't know when that video was released, but he said if you have any comments or concerns to, oh man, I have to see if I can find that. But yeah, like he's a prisoner's advocate as well. So I seen that and I thought of you guys. I tried to tag you in it, but I don't know if you're on TikTok or not. So, but I hope everybody is doing well. I just watched some football today, Nitro Bob. I didn't do a whole lot of anything, to be honest with you. Um, just a lazy day. It's been kind of raining a little bit, not as much as yesterday, but just a cold day. Didn't really have anything to do, so just kind of kicked my feet up and chilled today. I watched my Niners play, and there's still a game on right now, but I don't know. I'm just not really into it right now, and it's not my team ain't playing, so. Uh, man, I don't have TikTok, but I've touched base with that group. Oh, okay. I see. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I know there's a lot of different groups out there that um, are trying to do things. So, but yeah. Hold on just a second, guys. The dog is barking to go inside. Let me let her in real quick. You want to go inside? Stop. Uh, all right, sorry about that interruption. Do me a favor, guys. Hit that like button if you're in here. It really helps with the algorithm and getting the message out. I'm not really sure what the message is for tonight, but we'll get there. Uh, wishing y'all a good game. My team not going to the bowl this year. Yeah, I hear you. I think the Cowboys play the Raiders tomorrow night. Yeah, yeah, I'm familiar with Chad's channel. There's another channel. Uh, I don't want to spread rumors on here, but there's another channel. It's a native dude, and I think he was saying some things about Chad. I think it's called "Finally Free from Federal Prison." He's a native cat. He's a good storyteller. I like listening to the dude talk about his time in the feds. He was like an he was AW, I think. Was it AW? He was he was with the natives though, you know. So what's up, everybody? What's up? Uh, it's kind of overcast and cold, a little windy, you know. Yeah, and I would completely agree with you there, Solid. All over the place when it comes to this so-called prison genre of YouTube. Like, oh my God, there's like so much bickering back and forth between some of these channels. Like it's hard to watch some of this stuff, to be honest with you. You know, if you're trying to put out What's up, John? Shout out to Tennessee. Hope you're doing well. You know, if you're allegedly putting out a trying to put out a positive message and help people, why is it all these channels do is go after one another all the time? Like, it's crazy. And there it is right there, Tapwood. I agree. I agree. So, you know, Bam Bam. Yeah, and you know what? I'm new to his content. I just ran across him recently. We're just kind of all over the place, Q. But yeah, Bam Bam's been going in on these dudes, man. Jeez, like he's an entertaining cat, I'll say. You know, like um. But then I guess you got high power fitness, and I don't know who he's. People are beefing with that dude too, and like it's just okay. You know, it's everybody's after Gunner and Dubs. You got Ronnie on the spot over there. That guy's channels, I think I find it interesting. I tune into Ronnie on the spot. I think it's Ronnie Irwin or something. He's an old NLR cat, but Chemo's Flicks, yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like it's people will tune in for the drama. I will say that I noticed that with YouTube. You know, if if uh, if you're trashing on somebody, everybody wants to. It's like they never stop politicking. What's up, Gary? And that's why I don't really tell prison stories no more like that like because I'm not that no more. And you know I think it's time for another stimulus check. Gossip does equal numbers, though, Tapwood. It most definitely does. And, everybody wants to be first to drop breaking news about another content creator. And, I don't know. I, I like what John said. I just want people to love each other. Yes, sir. Like, let's have some peace on the YouTube yard, as they say. Give the live a like. It's free. It helps the algorithm and it helps the message reach more people that need it. Thanks, Q. I appreciate that. JD Delay, and then I noticed he was posting so much political stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And to be honest with you, I can do a video on one of those guys, and it'll get decent numbers, But I don't know. Like I just like it. Dubs. Yeah, here I am now. I'm gonna start talking shit about people, but but like he's made a career out of talking shit about people and reacting to their videos, and then he gets all butthurt when people talk about him. You know what I mean? Like, come on, you're a big bad convict. Like I don't know. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole though. Like I don't pay attention to what those guys got to say anymore, and uh, I do find the drama interesting at times, but like it's just watching people tell prison stories about life on the inside. Uh, yeah, I hear you. Primitive mysticism. Yeah, that stuff it is popular, and I remember the first time I ran across the genre, I was like, wow, I didn't even know there was a lane for this type of stuff, and I think when I first started paying attention to YouTube, um, It was who was I watching? I was watching there was a Southsider guy. Um Damn, I can't remember what his name is, but he would always say slapping you with the big D of reality or something to that extent. I can't remember that cat's name, but it was him and Savage Studios. Uh yeah, I didn't really get too deep into it, but I jumped on there and gave it a subscribe. I'll take a look at it when I have a little when I'm more into the YouTube mode. But yeah, I definitely went there and seen it. So I don't really watch a lot of YouTube on the weekends where you guess who the ex-con is and you can have a lineup and have them answer questions to do Prison Jeopardy. That's funny. That would be interesting, but I don't have. That sounds like some Mr. Beast type of stuff or something, like. Or I know there's shows where they do that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I don't have a budget. I have a garage and a Android that I'm working with here, so that'd definitely be interesting, though. Especially like with California prison. Other states are different. The feds are different. I don't know nothing, just what I've heard, But um, yeah. So that football game's on right now. I was falling asleep watching that shit. The Lions and the Eagles. It's a good game, but it's not my team playing. My team looked good with Purdy today. So I'm happy. I'm pleased with that. But, tomorrow night, I guess the Cowboys and the Raiders are playing. Another one I'll probably take a nap during. Yeah, JD DeLay is good. I enjoy his stuff as well. What did JD DeLay do for Jason Volkovich while he was in and after he got out was solid. What's up, David Price? How you doing, brother? Food truck specializing in spreads. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'd see his stuff once in a while, too. Things out and do casting if you are down. We'll take a look at that. You hit 3,000 subscribers because of the Android in your garage. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that, Big E. I've only met one other person who makes better prison food than myself. Newbie says I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Man, them smokers are no good for you, brother. Switch to then. Yeah. So, I'll say one thing. When it comes to the spreads and stuff, like I would eat that stuff once in a while, but I came to the conclusion there's so much good food out here that I kind of left that behind. I don't do Top Ramen no more, Yeah, and as far as the cigarettes go, they ain't going nowhere. So, my apologies, Q. My apologies. Do Cowboys fan ever? Topic for tonight should be, says Tapwood. Do Cowboys fans ever really recover? That's a good one. I'll tell you, I've seen more videos of Cowboys fans beating up their TVs than anybody else. But chili with all fresh peppers, etc. Yeah, see, there's so much good food to be made out here. Like the wife made burritos tonight. Oh my God. I love it when she makes them. And now I'm not going to say I hate it, but I always overeat when she makes them burritos because they're just so damn good, I'll start off with 2 and then I'll probably have 2 more during the course of the night. Like I got an appetite on me, But without canteen or commissary or whatever it's called, does the state feed you enough when you're inside? Can you survive on state meals? I mean, it's a 2,000 calorie diet basically, unless you're. I've heard like if you're in the shoe, those trays are horrible. You know, when I was in AdSeg, those trays were pretty horrible to be honest with you. But you know, with the workouts and everything that you're doing, man, it's hard to survive on that stay food, but it can be done, I guess. I guess to your house, I would have you make me. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. What's up, Jay? Ecom, ecom down. Get off his pocket. Yeah, take it easy. Take it easy. It's all love in here. Every time I eat at a Mexican joint and camarones rancheros, I get sick from eating too. Yeah. Scoops lost 30 pounds and it's not because, oh, damn. Yeah, see, that's crazy. You know, I mean, the thing, I'll tell you something. When I caught my case that sent me to prison, I was tweaked out and I was about 180 pounds. And when I paroled about 16, 17 months later, I was, I think, 172 pounds. So I was tweaked out on the streets and I still came out 10 pounds lighter. Uh, now, oh, they're not even allowing commissary. Damn, that is cruel. Um, but, you know, like if you're not living high on the hog with the commissary, you know, like I was working out all the time. Like the workout was my big thing in there. And like with the, you know, like I said, if you're not spreading every night and doing that kind of stuff and got a locker full of food, like you're gonna be hungry in there, especially with the workout, you know. But not not because he was waiting to transfer 6 months now. Is he still if you can talk about it, is he still in Victorville? I know it took a long time for them to get him out of New Folsom too, right? And he was like in RHU or whatever, which is not a great place to be, solitary and all that. And yeah, as far as that goes, threshold moment, like times have changed so much. I remember. Oh, okay, yeah. Times have changed so much as far as what people talk about now. Uh, like I remember, like when I was in high school, like if your family had EBT or food, it was food stamps back then. Nobody talked about that stuff, but you know, nowadays, like that's people tend to celebrate that a little too much. It seems, you know what I mean. But it is what it is. You know what I mean. Like if there had been social media back like when I was in high school and teenage years, nobody would have been making videos about that stuff. I don't believe, you know. So you know, the fact that you know, I think the talking about prison, especially on social media, I think there's definitely some positives to that because hopefully some kid somewhere will hear that, you know what, you don't have to be that guy that went there, you know? So, um, Solid says he wanted his trial not to go to feds. Yeah. Yeah, I know that sucks. Thank you for the 100 Nitro, Bob. I appreciate it. Yeah, we watched the Bengals game this morning. We weren't very happy with that one. The stigma is in the secrets. The more we talk about it, the more we gain transparency. Absolutely. And yeah, and that's a great point because it's like you said, it's something people didn't really talk about before. But to be honest with you, where I grew up, when somebody paroled, the best way to describe it, I guess, is they come out, they look healthy, they had like a glow about them, like it almost looked cool. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to explain it if you haven't lived that life and you didn't grow up in that sort of a neighborhood. You know what I mean? But at the same time, yeah, not to glorify it, but to expose it, right? And there is nothing cool about it, Tapwood, right? Um, you know, you would watch somebody get out and they would look good. You know what I mean? They'd be in good shape, have some muscles on them and stuff, and have like a glow about them, like almost um, yeah, they were happy to be out, exactly. And they were healthy and they got a chance to get cleaned up and stuff. And then you would watch the decline in that person over the next 6 months to a year, and then they'd be gone again. And you know, I've said this before. I think that when it comes to the drug laws, California is not helping because for me, that lifeline for me was that probation violation that would come once in a while because I was a hope to die drug addict running around crazy. And like I would, basically come out with a fully charged battery, so to speak. And that battery was about dead by the time the handcuffs came on. And, you know, then, I would go in, get healthy, eat and stuff, and eat better than I had been eating and start over again. And at some point, I came to the conclusion that I don't want to continue to live like this. And that's what I think was the catalyst to me finding recovery. You know what I mean? But it don't need to be that way for everybody. And yeah, you're right about that, Taffwood. They were definitely Scoops and Mrs. D were doing a great job about showing the corruption. And that's a good point too. Some people thrive in prison, and it's they're able to do that. And honestly, by the time I went to prison, um, like I thought I had it all figured out from all the county time and stuff, but really I hadn't. But I, I'm not gonna say that I didn't understand what was going on and I didn't know how to function in that environment. You know, uh, and yeah, that's true. There's definitely some that just can't handle life on the streets. Definitely, but you get that term institutionalized, right? Like you get used to the program of the day to day in there. And like I said, like I'm not saying like I didn't do no big super long stretch or nothing, so I don't have an understanding of that. But you get in where you fit in, basically, I guess you would say, and I was able to do so in the places that I was. Absolutely, Tapwood, absolutely. As long as you have some solid homies in your car, he says, uh, as soon as you get that sentence, they will lift you up, right? Hey, what's up, Blake? I appreciate you. Yep. So, but that's you adapt to your environment. And I think it would be an understatement to say that I was definitely a different person in there. I think it is curable. Absolutely. Solid. Definitely. What's up? What's that? Black Imposter? How you doing? Seen it on YouTube that sometimes people who are homeless would try to go to prison because in prison they would have a place to sleep. I I hear in some of the colder climates they'll go to the county just to get out of the cold. Timeout is the best cure, right? And Jesus, right? Uh, mm-hmm. Why don't you save your live videos? I don't know. I never really thought about it. I thought they just posted. Maybe they're not public or something. I don't know. I've never really looked into that. I'll have to take a look at it. Oh, okay. Tapwood says he does. You can go watch all of them now. Okay. So yeah, they are there. I think the only thing with rewatching them is that you can't see the comments, but you can, see me talking basically. So do me a favor, guys. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe, hit that like button. Really helps out with the channel. What tale are you sharing? I'm not sure what you're saying. All the addicts go to clean houses until it gets warm or they get kicked out for using. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, there's sober livings, there's in-house programs that you can go to. Definitely ask you what's your thoughts on Nisar. I don't know anything about that, sweet Richard. Yeah, and I've heard that they do Tapwood. Humboldt's known for that, right? So, uh, yeah, so that's that's what's up, Tapwood. That's good stuff. He says still sober, by the way. That's awesome. Lots of scammer rehabs. LOL. Yeah. Yeah, I've been to a few in-house programs back when I was trying to get clean, and some definitely weren't for me. Uh, absolutely, one day at a time. That's all we can do, right? Whether you're just getting started or you've got 30 years, you still got to do it one day at a time. So if you go to a meeting or something, I remember when I first started going to meetings, and I actually got serious, and I would hear these people say, yeah, I got 20 years sober, I got 26 years, whatever. I used to think, man, I wish I could be like that. But you know what? They're doing it one day at a time, just like you are. I think it's going to come when the tax returns are done, Tapwood, if it happens. He says they let me in with my. Oh, damn, that's wild. Yeah, I done the sober living thing and all that, and the thing. Uh, Suck Me says I am 6 hours sober. Congratulations on that, bro. That's awesome. Yeah, I did. I did Gibson House, and then I did Newhouse like twice, all in San Bernardino. I didn't like Gibson House. Gibson House was too militant for me. Maybe you should try to go to a meeting or something, Charlotte. Uh, tax cuts are mailed checks or direct deposit. I think it's going to be like a credit towards your taxes. But I'm not 100% sure on that. And to be honest with you, I haven't really been paying a whole lot of attention to politics lately. So don't quote me on that. But that's what it kind of sounds like to me. But you know what? A $2,000 credit's not bad. Heard of Walden House? It sounds familiar, but I'm not I'm not sure where that's at. Jason's retreat in Bakersfield had saved many lives. Absolutely. And to be honest with you, when it comes to rehabs, uh, you know, it's not one size fits all for a lot of people. You know what I mean? What's good for me might not be good for you. You know, Newhouse was a little looser as far as the way they did things. Uh, it seemed like they fed you better. They had a little weight pile out in the yard, which I liked. Um, and you know, it worked for me. But I seen people relapse right out of there. I seen people come in there on you know, some political shit. Like they still had the prison mentality. You know what I mean? I seen in Newhouse though that there was a good bunch of dudes in there, and there was a guy named Mike. We won't say his last name, but he's from the IE, and he I remember something that had happened. We were in the kitchen, and it was like a regular older house, right? You had the kitchen, and then there was like a laundry room, and then the steps would take you out into the backyard back there, and then there was like a driveway that ran along a long driveway, and then they had another house right next door, and there was a guy in there. I believe his name was Reggie. He was a black gentleman, and he was standing there eating some popcorn, and I was kind of fresh out. I was a couple weeks out, you know, and you know, Reggie said, "Hey, Bobby, you know, you want some of this popcorn?" And my mindset is still in there, and it smelled good. I ain't gonna lie, I wanted some of that popcorn, but I was like, "No, Reggie, I'm good. Thank you, I appreciate it, brother." You know, and my my guy Mike, who you know, he helped me along with some things. He walks up, he sticks his hand into Reggie's bag and grabs a handful of that popcorn, and he said, "Go ahead and get you some, Bobby. We're not on the yard no more." And he starts popping that popcorn in his mouth, and I'm like, okay. So I accepted some. I like poured some out of the bag into my hand, and I ate it, you know. And that was like one of the first steps in letting go of my past, I guess. You know what I mean? Like I said, like I don't claim I was no high powered dude or none of that type of shit. But you know, when I was doing time, there were rules, and you either followed them or bad things could happen to you. You know, and you know, he kind of helped me start to break the chains a little bit. You know what I mean? So shout out to Mike. I doubt you're out there watching this, but if you are, I appreciate you, brother. I personally like a drink and had a big night last night, and today was stopped at a random breath test location here in Australia. He said, "Get out of the car." Oh shit, that ain't good, David. Uh, I need that money. I'm trying to get. Yeah, no, I hear you. I'd love to see that money too. That would be awesome if it is November 25th. It was just under the legal limit, all from the alcohol I drank the night before, so they let me go. But man, damn, that sucks, David. I'm glad you ended up being all right, though. Proud of myself. I didn't continue drinking today. Maybe I only should get smashed once a week. Hey, bro, you got to do it one day at a time, you know. So, whatever works best for you, brother. But that's good that you didn't drink today. I'm proud of you. Paper check is coming a little later if you don't have direct deposit for taxes or disability payments. Oh, okay. Story of what happened to me. Alcohol can get you jammed. Oh, yeah, very much so. Just ask Bobby questions about prison. Much about recovery. He's a well. I appreciate that, David. What's up, imaginary land? What are some of the rules you have to follow? Election this coming week. Purge the old, embrace the new. Absolutely. Um, I guess David, it's like anything. Like when you're new at something, someone has to run you down on what the do's and don'ts are, and that's just what kind of what it is. Have to go to yard on a level 3? Do you have to work out? Do you have to have someone watch your back while you poop? I would say, let's see. Do you have to work out? That will be a yes. Do you have to have someone watch your back while you poop? It depends on the atmosphere of the yard, I would say. Uh, there's level 3s that are not as active, and there's level 3s that are super active, from what I've been told. When I was on the level 3, we were at war. So if you got out of the cell, and well, we weren't getting out of the cell at that time. We were locked down. So as far as that goes, no, you wouldn't have to. But I guess if there's tension on the yard, it's not a bad idea to have somebody watch point while you urinate. You know what I mean, or wash your hands or whatever. My last case wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been. Yeah, exactly. Well, Mom took my car, so I'm not driving right now. I actually hate to drive. Okay. Yeah. But like someone else had just said a minute ago, the thing is, if you don't drink, you don't got to worry about it, Just makes things a lot easier, and if you do drink, stay where you're at, Taftwood says, in Corcoran, they have a toilet on the yard with a short brick wall. You always have a homie or two keeping point. Mando. Absolutely. I remember when I was in reception in Delano, going out onto the yard, they called it the Silver Bullet, that yard toilet. But yeah, they were. Yeah, I noticed that kind of behavior when I was in reception, that they were doing that sort of stuff. Scoop said stuff about that. Yeah. What movie? Silver. Oh, yeah. So, how's it going, brother? You having a? I'm doing well, Tim. I hope you are also. When your points go from level to level 3, 4, the rules are much more strictly enforced, and they run up. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think going from the 2 to the 3, like it was like I left one world and I came into another world. And it could be because I went from a yard that, like, the thing about 1 and 2 yards, they tend to be run so loosely that the respect level goes up exponentially every level you go up. And then if you hit AdSeg, or I'm assuming a shoe or a level 4, like that's where it's at the utmost, because even a perception of disrespect is enough to start some shit that you don't want to start. You know what I mean? Corcoran D Yard had showers on the yard. Oh, wow. Okay. So, like if you're going to like a camp or a CCF or something, that stuff is like super mellow. But you got tend to have a bunch of youngsters that are running around playing grab ass and shit and doing stuff like that. And I didn't care for that stuff. But as you get to the higher levels, things are a lot more serious because on a 1 or a 2 yard, it's going to be a fight. Even if like there were a big disruption between races on those yards, typically somebody described it to me when I first hit reception. They said 1 and 2 yards, think of it like a barroom brawl. 3 and 4 yards, everybody's coming with something to get you, you know? So that's the way it was described to me. I was in a riot on a 1 and a 2, and yeah, a barroom brawl basically, where you're outnumbered 3 to 1, but it is what it is, you know? Uh, um, what sent you from a level 1 or 2 to a level 3? Did you do something inside or what was? No, it was all inside. Everywhere I landed, it seemed like there were. It was just a really active time between the different groups and getting caught up in incidents. I guess you would say, you know, uh, points going up, and you know, I the first yard I landed on, I walked right into a riot, and you know, I didn't get a participation in that one just because it was a CCF, and what they do in those CCFs, uh, he got to Salinas and saw all the, yeah, yeah, that, you know, someone like Scoops, I could totally see that, you know, like these dudes, they on the 1 and 2s, they're so much sex playing amongst each other, and like I didn't go for that shit, you know, like you know, I just that wasn't me, you know, and uh, you know, running around doing stupid shit, like damn near get his leg blown off during a riot at Salinas Valley. Cop shot him. Uh, that like 35% of people incarcerated are not guilty. You know, I don't know about that. I know there's a lot of most of the population is addicted, and I don't know if I necessarily agree with somebody going to prison for like under the influence type shit. Like, I mean, if you got 20 kilos in the truck, then you know the game you're playing, right? But you know, you're on your ninth probation violation and you end up in prison or whatever it may be, you know, some of that stuff. But I would say this: I think if you take the drug use out, I think the prisons would be pretty empty because most people's crimes are drug related in one way or another, you know. Now, I'm not saying all of them are, but most of them are, you know. Uh, he was on a level 4 270 honor yard and he wasn't impressed. Yep. To take this time to shout out Two Scoops for doing his part in ending the indeterminate shoot. Man, that's a great shout out right there, Taffwood. I like that. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely shout out to Two Scoops and Mrs. D for her actions in trying to fight the corruption in the system, you know? They were torturing all the big yeah, yeah, I mean for like 30 years they had those guys locked in shoeboxes basically. And you know, like if you're lucky you get an hour outside. uh in Pelican Bay, like it's overcast year round, so I mean, like a lot of people, they lost their shit back there, you know, they lost their minds uh because you know, you don't see the sunshine, you don't really get a bunch of contact with other people, and you know, like not everybody's built like that, not everybody can handle that sort of isolation, you know. I mean, I can tell you from my own personal experience, like I have to communicate with others. uh like when I'm at work and I'm alone in my truck, like I gotta have some music going or a podcast going or something, because otherwise I get in my head, and that's not always a great place for me to be. You know what I mean? Uh, he tortures himself to end the suffering. One man even dies from hunger. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Know his name, but may he rest. Yeah, absolutely. May he rest in peace. He was part of a good cause for that, definitely, you know? At TV and radio when I met him. Okay. Yeah. But I've heard stories about Pelican Bay and like how quiet it was back there in the shoe. You know, I mean, the place was infamous. Um, you know, anybody that got anywhere near that Pelican Bay shoe, you know, half of these YouTube channels all claim, oh, yeah, I was in the shoe in Pelican Bay for however, whatever, you know, and like for a lot of people, that's their claim to fame, you know, but I can tell you there's thousands, probably tens of thousands of people that caught shoe terms and, you know, they did their 14 months, 2 years, whatever it may be. And, you know, and they got kicked back out onto the level 4 180. But, you know, the people that were, um, what's that? What's that term they use where you're like associated with organizations or whatever? Uh, oh, they get validated. The people that got validated, like those guys, you know, they said the from what I heard, documentaries and stuff, they said the terminology if you got validated was debrief or die or parole. And if you didn't have a date, if you were a lifer, then that was your destiny, you know? And you know, there were a few back there that wrote it out for decades. You know what I mean? And my hat's off to those guys. Those are some strong dudes. Uh, Cup sack was hard for Scoops to take because it was so loud. Oh, okay. CSP sack, yeah. Whole different environment, I would imagine, you know. Uh, Taffwood said I went to Corcoran Shoe and it was bad enough. Honestly, bro, I was in AdSeg Overflow in Delano and that was bad enough for me. Like, that was like, man, this is crazy. And I'm sure that was nothing in comparison to Corcoran or Pelican Bay shoes, you know. Um, I mean, I can't imagine being stuck back there for long periods of time, you know. So shout out to all the people that survived the shoe, you know. Me, I absolutely need my headphones and music when I'm cleaning around the house. One reason is because I can't stand when. Yeah, I hear you, Biggie. I had two uncles that were prison guards here in New Zealand. He told me how inmate poured a full jug of boiling water on him and got badly burned. Damn. Yeah, I used to love it when Scoops would be on those lives. I still check them out. I haven't caught an actual live one, though. I usually watch it later. Uh, they say the silence is a shoot was so quiet it would drive. Yeah, I've heard it. SB 260 changed everything, but staff all about sabotaging opportunities. Absolutely. And to be honest with you, the way I came across Solid Behind Blue Eyes, there used to be a guy. I haven't seen him in a long time. What was that channel called? It was that guy Tony. Calls from a current prisoner or something like that, and he was talking about the incident that happened with Ronnie Ondell, and so I started like trying to see what I could find out about that, and that's how I ran across Solid Behind Blue Eyes. So yeah, and I've been seeing your shorts. That AI stuff is cool. I would say depending on where you're at, David, I would say though in the shoe, from what I've heard, the level of respect is off the charts. You know, uh, you could have a dire enemy in the cell next to you, and you're going to be respectful as long as those doors are closed. Now, if they open, that may be a different story. But uh, in the shoe in AdSeg, definitely, like when I was in AdSeg, uh, we didn't sell soldier. You know, we were on a lockdown because of a riot with the blacks, and if they were saying stuff from behind the glass, we did not respond. Uh, not because you know, not because we were afraid to respond, but we figured if the doors cracked, then that's when we would respond. It's kind of like arguing with somebody online. You know what I mean? Like I can talk all the shit I want, but I really don't mean anything. Now, if that I run into that person in public and they run their mouth, well then ding ding, let the bell ring. You know what I mean? But uh yeah, like it's definitely high respect, you know. Uh Tony from Tony from Stories from a Current Prisoner has been MIA for 8 months or so. Yeah. Stories from a Current Prisoner went away as soon as the trials. Yeah, it sure did, huh? Now that you mention it, yeah. I know what was it? I forgot what I was gonna say. But yep, so it's been a while, huh? It's been a couple of years. Or or is it 8 months? I don't know. It's been a while though. I haven't seen that dude. Quiet time 10 to 10, program time 10 to 10. Yep. Feds AdSeg is full of weak ass weirdos and weenie whacker. Hey, yeah, I believe it, you know. I've heard some stories. I follow more stuff of guys from the feds that seem reputable. Uh, just to like expand my knowledge a little bit, I guess you would say. You know what I mean? Because I never did any time in the feds. I probably should have from some of my antics earlier in life, but I was fortunate, you know. Uh, he tried to interview Scoops, but Scoops, yeah, I couldn't see him talking to that guy. Yep, I remember. I think Powder may have been speaking on some things he wasn't supposed to because he got real quiet. So, yeah, he was becoming like a rising star on Tony's channel, and then I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden he got quiet. I think he may have even issued an apology to somebody. I've been David Price. I would suggest, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. If you find somebody that's charismatic and has been around people, they can tell you all kinds of stories online. You know what I mean? Like, uh, yeah, exactly. So, you know, you find somebody with a little bit of charisma and they look like they've been to the pen, like they can tell other people's stories all day long, and most people will eat that shit up, you know? Oh, you've been here, you've been there, you know? MA and NF are just another tip in the fizz. Trust me, they're dangerous. So, but yeah, like that's the thing. And that's why, when I guess what I'm saying is when you're watching YouTube and somebody's telling you their stories from prison and stuff and about what they were a part of and all of this stuff, Just take it with a grain of salt. Take it as entertainment. You know what I mean? Um, you know, one thing I will say is the people that tend to be a lot more cautious in what they say are probably the more trustworthy of the individuals on YouTube. Because people that are talking reckless, like a Wes Watson or uh, some of these other guys, like, I don't know. Beware of the reckless speaker. I'll just say that. you know, prison stories are cool and all that stuff, but oh yeah, he definitely is. Like I said, those prison stories are cool and all that stuff, but it should be uh, uh, a tale of caution. Let's just say, you know, there ain't nothing glamorous about that stuff. Unfortunately, for some folks, it's life. A grain of truth, right? Wes Watson claimed the brand. Holy shit. Yeah, that's West lied like a oh yeah. And the big short big shorty, what they call him? He's a poser. I don't know. Yeah, that's it's funny because people will get on these lives and they'll ask if I'm that, and I'm like that's a stupid question. That's a stupid question, you know. But at the same time, a lot of people that watch this stuff are looking for entertainment. They're looking to buy into something to believe in, right? But yeah, Bobby is a house cat. I'm just a guy trying to make it in this world, I'll say that. Like, I'm not a part of I'm part of a family that I'm trying to make it successful as I possibly can. Wes Watson is a lame with a paint job. Yeah, and that's it, Uh, one thing I tend to notice, yeah, yeah, absolutely, like a lot of the people that talk the loudest and I've seen this in jail so many friggin' times, even in the county jail, the dude that's barking the loudest when shit cracks off, like they wouldn't bust a grape in a food fight. You know what I mean? I remember there was a Southsider in LA County Jail. We were on intake, IRC, Inmate Reception Center, getting processed into the jail. And this dude, yeah, absolutely, LPS, right? This dude, you know, he had the tats and stuff. He sort of had the look, and he had a couple of the younger homies' ears. He's like, yeah, like I just got out of the SHU program and this and that, and like we were riding on these fools in wherever he was talking about. You know what I mean? I was kind of ear hustling a little bit, but like it didn't really pertain to me. You know what I mean? But you know, um, he's talking all this high powered shit, and there was a disturbance between the Southsiders and the blacks in there, and he did his best to get the hell out of the way. You know what I mean? So I guess that's the point I'm making. When you're watching YouTube and people are talking the most highest power shit in the world, the people that truly are won't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just say that for the most part, the ones that are trying to make you believe that, to his grandbabies, my baby said, thank you, Cora. I appreciate that. But yeah, it's the truth. If somebody's trying to, if it sounds like someone's trying to sell you some snake oil, they probably are. Wes Watson, you know what I mean? Uh, but discernment and I'm telling you now, Bobby is a solid cat. I appreciate you, Tapwood. Yeah, that's the thing. And I went on this whole tangent about who what to look for in people you watch on YouTube, but you know what? Make your own decisions, guys. If you turn somebody on and they're entertaining to you, then by all means watch it. But just don't take it as the gospel. I'll just say that. So I give you a try going on a walk every day for an hour or two a day. You know what? I think we're going to keep it running for a little bit, but I got to run inside and hit the restroom real quick, guys. So do me a favor. Go ahead and talk amongst yourselves. If you're new here, subscribe and hit that like button. Give me about 2 minutes. Discernment and stoicism. Okay, yeah, give me about 2 minutes. I'll be right back, guys. You go outside? Come on. Come on, go. No, you can't come in here right now. You gonna come make your appearance real quick? All right, Stormy wants to come say hi real quick. Come on. There she is. Here's the baby. All right. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's get you inside. Go on. Go. Go on. Go. Go. Go on in there. All right, Stormy wanted to come say hi, so I had to let her real quick. Let me scroll back a little bit and see what I missed in the comments here. Cora says, I want to thank all the regulars in here that always come in and give my dad good conversation. The engagement is wonderful. Y'all are awesome. Thank you, Cora. He says, Cora, I'm being a good mod. I don't want to piss anyone off because I keep bringing up football. That's all right, bro. That's right. That was Stormy. Hey, I love you guys too. I agree, David. I agree. What's up, Mr. Raccoon? How you doing? Hope you're well tonight. So, yeah, we went down the rabbit hole of prison YouTubers. What else do you guys want to talk about this evening? Oh, I could go on and on about that, but I'm glad to hear you're doing well, Mr. Raccoon. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, for me, though, like this channel's about sobriety. It's about, doing well for yourself and for your family. You know what I mean? I show up and keep it off football. I just was not in the mood to talk about football tonight for some reason. My Niners look good, and here I am talking. See, I do this every time. First, I said there's drama on YouTube, and then I talked about the drama for a half an hour. Now, am I going to talk about football? No, I'm not. Absolutely. There's some really good people in this world. So, but there's also some not so good people. We'll just say that. So it's easy to love my dog. Dogs are the utmost in loyal, you know? So uh you hear about that guy Flacco. I think he relapsed and did something with a gun. Yeah, 40s must be tough, harder than if yeah. Yeah, I used to he was one of and I agree with that, Solid. You know, he was one of the first people I followed on YouTube as well. Flacco and Big Rojo. I guess they were allegedly a part of a organization from up north, and they were interesting. You know, them and then Savage Studios. I don't know if you guys remember Savage Studios, but that dude, he was a 2-5er from the, and he was open about it. And to be honest with you, it was kind of intriguing. But he was always talking shit. He was drama. You know what I mean? And and he ended up losing his life over that. So uh, there you go. You know, YouTube drama. Yeah, he absolutely did. And you know, he thought he was Mr. Chingone, and he figured it out, I guess. You know, so yeah, he was that dude was always into something. You know, and yeah, so he gave everybody some content to talk about when somebody shot him. You know what I mean? But why would I want to do that, Alexander? Just so everyone knows, Splinter from Prism POV is a lame, full of lies and other people's stories. Alexander, shut up, said Cora. Yeah, we are not doing jumping jacks tonight. I get on my healthcare kicks where I go crazy in the gym for a year or two, and then I'm not on that right now though. Ezekiel says, Alexander, I challenge you to subscribe and hit that like button. There you go, bro. What's in it for me? 25 jumping jacks ain't shit, by the way. David says, I'm a lame, proudly so, never been to prison and follow the rules. Why are you a lame, David? I think that's amazing that you've never been to prison and that you follow the rules. That's a great thing. Sounds like you may have some issues with alcohol. That might be something you need to work on. But, you know, I think I would congratulate you before I would call you a lame for never having been to prison. That's great. You're 10 steps ahead of a lot of us. So, uh, people talking crazy on here. Who's talking crazy? I see some people getting timed out. Maybe I'm not getting to it quick enough. There's always some weirdos in here. Mods are doing great, though. Yeah, shout out to the mods, to Cora, to Q, and to Big E. You completed the first challenge. Now, challenge is to shut up. Further than me with the timeouts, and I hate it. And I also think you're doing great. Definitely. My good friend Shane said, stay out of prison, be a lame. It's way cool. I agree with that. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad they're on it. What's up, RW Sims? How you doing tonight, bro? Absolutely, John Doe. Yeah, if you're into this new age rap, go check that guy out. Jam Wayne. Yeah, but as far as being a lame because you've never been locked up, man, I want if that's lame instead, I want it. You know, just okay, I hear you, bro. That's right. Well, I appreciate you tapping in. You know, I think that being stand up is taking care of your family and stuff, you know? Uh, being the best individual that you can be. So just keep doing what you're doing, bro. Nothing lame about not going to prison. What is lame is when you go to prison and you don't participate. Man, and that's kind of where the term came from. I do believe, is uh, you're all in it together. Basically, I'm speaking from my time of doing time, which was about 20 years ago now. So I have no idea what's going on in there right now, but you know, uh, been out for 11 months, did 13 years. Well, congratulations on your freedom, Josh, and welcome home, bro. That's awesome. But yeah, the lame term, I told a story about this about Woods getting taxed in LA County, and we had a lame on our row. He brought some tobacco in, and the Southsiders came and taxed him through the bars. He had bars in between them, and he gave up all his shit, all his commissary and stuff, and ended up rolling it up. And me and another guy, we were gonna go help him roll it up. You can read between the lines on that one. That story's called Woods Getting Taxed in LA County. You can go check it out and hear the full story. I got some backlash on that one because people said, well, sounds like you're the lame Bobby because you were going to jump a guy that didn't stand up for himself. And when I explained it to him that, if I'm getting jumped, I want to make sure that you're going to have my back because I'm going to have yours. Then some people started to realize, but some people just want to argue in the comments, and that's okay, Yeah, get him out of here. Taftwood, that was coming from a guy who had been out 20 years in Grateful. He was in feds for bank robbery. Now he's a family man and a grandpa. That's what's up. Keep it real. I used to look at convict and the big homies. Now that I'm older, I look up to successful people who take care of their family. Exactly what I squandered. Yeah, man, I'm with you, bro. Price, sometimes I have to make a job out of getting a job. You will get a bunch of no's, but one door closes. How many open? Absolutely. I don't even know what that means. Can you say that in English, Jude? Not that there's... Let me toss the smoky. Yeah, so, okay. Jude, I don't think you need to be here. I'll just time you out and let you think about it for a little bit. By my name. Thanks, prison. I'm sorry, Tab. I don't mean to laugh, but the way you wrote that was funny. Yeah, and that sucks, What's up, Cherry? How you doing? Fonse are trying to have our first kid, so please pray for us. Absolutely. Wish you guys the best of luck, Thanks, Bad Choices, right? Time him out for 20 hours. You beat me to it so fast. I'd asked about what it's like getting a job as a felon. Jude was just responding to me. It must be tough. Do they care how long ago the offense was? Are there felons, many felon CDL drivers? There's tons of them. And I think, honestly, David, that's one of the best careers for somebody. That's what I ended up doing. And if, I was a couple years into recovery at that point, I was no longer I was getting off parole and getting my CDL, kept it to where I have random drug tests still to this day. So I think that was one of the things that really helped to keep me honest. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I would have relapsed had I not become a truck driver, but it definitely gave me something to think about, you know? So, let me talks to you. At least he talks to you. But let me say this, not all bad people go to prison. I was active addiction and the drugs took over. Yeah, no, I hear you, Josh. And, and I would definitely agree with that, And and not all people that are in prison are bad. I'll say that as well. Uh, there for a single birthday because of prison or jail. Yeah, that sucks, bro. Yep, we're keeping Scoops in our prayers, though, solid. And, you know, we're praying that one day he will come home. Just didn't do anything, Bobby. Just got mad that someone came in here and yeah, I timed him out. Yeah, there's tons of CDL felons. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, they're always around. Is the sobriety period really 12 months for CDL with the follicle? Thank you, man, for the wisdom. Been scrolling through 30 minutes of shit to find someone fucking honest. I appreciate that, Jones. Uh, as far as that goes, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you as far as the follicle. I think, coming into that, maybe because you get put in a clearinghouse uh, with the CDL testing, right? So uh, to get your CDL, I don't think you need to necessarily provide a clean test to get the CDLs to get the job. And I think that's something you may be able to talk about with the potential employer, like DOT testing in California, you're just pissing in a bottle. Um, um, as long as it's clear of your system, I don't think I ever did a follicle test for my CDL. As long as you can pee clean, you'd be all right. But depending on where you're at, that may vary. So, I have cured my drug addiction by doing online gambling. So you've traded one addiction for another. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. Uh, I'm one of the trolls. Makes things funny sometimes. Yeah, I don't mind the trolling a bit as long as you understand who you're messing with and you're respectful to the people that aren't really with the shenanigans. So, but yeah, I've got to go to bed and work in the morning. Like I said, please pray for us. Hey, I definitely keep you in my prayers, bro. And if you guys are new, be sure to subscribe. Uh, hit that notification bell and hit all. That way, when we jump on here and we do it live, you can tap in and be a part of the conversation. Thank you for the camaraderie and support. All right, Solid Behind Blue Eyes. I appreciate you tapping in. Have a great night, and we're definitely keeping Two Scoops in our prayers. Joel are in the chat. I instigating because she got hella disrespect. Yeah, he sure did. I timed his ass out. Yeah, no problem, Jones. I appreciate you tapping in. Sure did. Yep. To the trolls nicely, but some of them say, yeah, once in a while I'll go in on one if I'm feeling it, you know what I mean? But it's better to just, it's like cell soldiering, you know what I mean? Like we're gonna talk shit online. If I wanted to do that, I'd say, where you at? Let's meet up. I lost $40 on blackjack last night in Vegas and only got a free beer. Enough gambling. Yeah, no, I hear you on that one, Jones. I've got to go to work. It's almost 5 p.m. here in Australia, and I work nights. Thank you for answering my questions. Lives are awesome. Hey, I appreciate you, David Price. Have a good shift at work. I was just responding to a rude guy who called. Okay. I've subbed. Appreciate you, Jones. Watch some of your vids. Sounds like a plan to address me. I told him not to address me anymore. I don't have time for those type of shenanigans. Okay. All right, guys, we're almost at that hour and a half mark tonight. I think we're going to pull the plug on this here shortly. It's been another good one. I appreciate everybody tapping in. It's always, the conversation is always good. I appreciate it. Much love to everybody. Faith, family, fitness, and freedom are the things that allow me to get my life back together, and they can help you as well. And, you just got to do it one day at a time, right? Whether you have 37 years or 37 hours, the next 24 hours will determine your fate. You know what I mean? So just keep pushing forward and don't look at the mountain. Just start climbing. Have a good one, guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Did Joel just really pop in? Oh, my Lord. Hey, it's nice to meet you as well, Jones. All right, Jude. He said, stop. Joel is here. Do we need to run a few more minutes since Joel popped in? All right, we'll go 10 more minutes, Joel, since you popped in at the last minute. What are you up to, bro? I was literally about to push the button. I was reaching for the button to shut it down. We'll go another 10. We'll go another 10. I hope we lost a bunch of people in that process, though. But how you doing, Joel? You doing well, brother? How's that baby doing? And how's the family? I'm chilling till I got to go to work at 11. All right, brother. That sounds good. Looks like you got another hour and a half or so. I guess I'm not the only one that works nights around here, huh? Man, this rain has been something else, though. Yeah, I think we lost the crowd. I think I'm gonna cut it. We doing good. My fat boy is good. I'm doing well, Joe. I'm doing well. I'm glad to hear you're doing all right, bro. You know what? I'll be back on again tomorrow night. I think we're gonna wrap it up. But I'm glad to hear you're doing well, and I appreciate you tapping in. Yeah, you be sitting on some snow. I'll be on towers, 20 days on, 10 off, one hitch, daylights, next lights. Damn. Yeah. Hit that notification bell, Joel, so that when I pop on, you'll get an alert, bro. And hit all. Tomorrow night we'll probably do around 8 or 9 o'clock. Somewhere in that general area. So just be on the lookout if you want to participate. We'll do it again. All right, guys. Have a great night. Appreciate everybody tapping in. It was a good one. And don't look at the mountain. Just start climbing. See you later. Why not 6, 7? Oh boy.